Oklahoma, where the winds come sweeping down the plains, and away we go. Because it was filmed in Canada, not Oklahoma, and there goes my Canadian audience. How many few of you have internet up there? Boy, oh boy, Ghostbusters Afterlife is based on the Ghostbusters movies? You don't say! Yeah, it's a continuation of these two Ghostbusters movies and the animated show. Not so much a 2016 debacle. I did a review of that. You can check that out and see how much I hated that fucking fiasco. But yeah, Ghostbusters Afterlife. In preparation for Ghostbusters Frozen Empire, why they decided to do a sequel, I have no goddamn idea. Oh wait, I know, because some people hold a bit of nostalgia, or in the case of others, a lot of nostalgia for when the Ghostbusters movies were, you know, good. So, sounds like I'm dumping on this movie. And don't worry, I'll get into spoilers in a little bit, even though this movie has been out for about 2.5 years. I'm going to give you a non-spoiler rundown after I talk about the cast. So it was written and directed by Jason Reitman. Gee, I wonder what relation he has to the previous two movies. Oh, produced and directed by Ivan Reitman. Imagine that! Look, in all seriousness, Jason Reitman actually isn't that bad of a director or filmmaker. Juno, Tully, young adult, up in the air. I can feel it calling up in the air tonight. Oh, Lord. And it was written by Gil Kennan, who did the Poltergeist 2015 version. Oh, boy. And also Monster House. It actually wasn't that bad. I need to go back and revisit that. So, yes, we get legacy characters, we get new characters, Human Centipede together, and a story, tale as old as time, Beauty and the Ghostly Beast. I'm just going to keep holding these up because that's practically what this movie did. Even though it had the legacy characters, and it did have new characters, it basically was just saying, remember when we did stuff like this, only it was better? Look, Ghostbusters Afterlife wasn't all that bad. It also came out during the, the immediate aftermath of theaters opening up as the pandemic was starting to calm down. And theaters were like, we've lost too much money. Let's open this shit back up and hope we can get people back in there. $75 million budget, which is about half of what the 2016 one cost. And that's smart, considering the 2016 one was absolutely shit. And I want to clarify, I hate it because it had women in the lead roles. I hate it because the comedy was terrible, and pretty much every aspect of that movie was rotten. The special effects in that one looked worse than the one in 1984. That seems like a scientific impossibility. Nevertheless, $75 million budget. $44 million opening. Pretty goddamn good. $129.3 million domestic gross. $204.3 million worldwide. Okay. $204.3 million worldwide. Not that bad on a $75 million budget. Even with advertising. I did see this when it hit streaming. I didn't watch this in theaters. And it's one of those where you just will totally forget about it after you watch it. So you could watch this before you go watch Frozen Empire and probably not miss much. Now, if you guys really like this one, that's great. But we have Carrie Coon as Callie. She's a mother with 2 children, and they find out they have connection to the Ghostbusters. Okay, 1. And considering some of the legacy characters that return, it's probably easy to figure out what connection they have to what particular one. Because it telegraphs everything, and look, I don't expect a deep narrative from a 2021 Ghostbusters movie. The problem is it relies so much on nostalgia that even when it tries for an emotional punch, I mean, yeah, I guess it kind of worked, except outside of McKenna Grace, who, by the way, was in Annabelle Comes Home, and she was one of the only standouts of that. She's also pretty much the only standout new character from this. And also has Finn Wolfhard, who is in this. It does not smell like caca to me, senor. So, yes, you have Paul Rudd, who apparently never ages. He is a teacher and just a very, very desolate Oklahoma town. Not Oklahoma City, not Tulsa, not even whatever the third city in Oklahoma is that people know. I don't know much about Oklahoma outside of those 2 cities. Yes, McKenna Grace, Phoebe, the fact that her and Finn Wolfhard basically had the same hair threw me off. It really threw me off. I think McKenna Grace, by the way, actually has potential to be a superstar because she gets the humor, she gets how to do the creepy, teen-type character, and she also seems like she actually can act, so hopefully she has a long career. Celesta O'Connor, who was recently in Madam Web. No wonder I recognized her. And then, yes, you get various other people coming back. You get Bob Gunston, who plays a certain character, and then J.K. Simmons. And yeah, it basically is just discovering stuff about yourself, and then ghosts come back. And a movie called Ghostbusters Afterlife, and it has to do with the afterlife. How weird is that? Yeah, it sounds like a numbing on the movie, and I kind of am, because it's a neat little idea. It has a few decent moments, but it also just, again, feels like we're just saying, we did this stuff in Ghostbusters 1 and 2. We tried it in 2016, it didn't work. So you want nostalgia? Here you go, fans. They just did it in an almost insulting way, because the setup was all right. And again, McKenna Grace is pretty good. But Ben Wolfhard just didn't seem like he really cared about, anything he was doing. And yeah, the legacy characters are honored a little bit better, kind of, but not really. I mean, better than the 2016 one, but nevertheless. So, yeah, going Egon, since, Harold Ramis unfortunately did pass away, they had to find a way to write off his character. And he was living on a farm, doing something like trapping ghosts. I mean, he never did that in his life. And then the mother, Callie, Carrie Coon, basically says, oh, I'm going to get evicted from my apartment, but, I'm going to go see my father. He lived on a farm. It's like my father ended up abandoning us and everything. Like, gee, I wonder who her father is. Look, I'm just going to spoil pretty much everything after I just basically say that this movie was all right in parts and egregiously annoying in other parts, because it just felt very heavy-handed and just like it was spoon-feeding you. And I'm sorry, but just certain things I just couldn't ignore. How was Ecto-1 able to go, despite staying there for so long? Wouldn't the gas have pretty much just gone completely dead? And sure, there are a few neat little things, but those get tossed out the window because we have to honor the first one, when they did this better. Yeah, I'm going to get into spoilers like it really fucking matters. It's available for a few bucks on Amazon if you want to rent it, or on FX Now. I decided to rent it because whatever. I didn't want to go to the FX Now app because I'm lazy. Nevertheless, it is what it is. Hopefully Frozen Empire is better, but based on that trailer, I don't fucking think so. Spoilers, 3, 2, 1. Spoilers, there we go. So, after they get evicted from their apartment, they go to the farmhouse. This is after Egon had tried to trap this evil ghost, Gozer, the Keymaster. There is only Zool. Nevertheless, she's saying, the mother is saying to the kids, you don't think I have a life? No, you're a mom. It's like, it's like, your life is us. All your base are belong to us. There we go. So, Janine shows up and talks about the play. That's the only time you see Janine in this whole thing. Gruberson is Paul Rudd's name. And he basically, is a teacher. He appreciates Phoebe, McKenna Grace's passion for science and everything, and instantly takes a liking to Callie. Carrie Coon is a beautiful woman. I don't blame him, but still, really, really quick romance here. And they refer to Egon as Dirt Farmer. He had a family, E-I-E-I. Ugh. Yeah, I had to do that. Carry on, Egon's son. There will be peace when you are done, and the Oklahoma plains are infested with some ghosts some more. I don't know where I was going with that, but whatever. It's not Kansas, because we're not in Kansas anymore. We're in Canada. I know that's how you don't pronounce it. I don't actually remember what province. I don't care. Nothing against Canada. It's like, that's how you save a lot of money, because it is cheaper to film there. And they got some beautiful locations, as long as you stay within 50 miles of the U.S.-Canadian border. So then after that, it gets a little bit dicey, especially in the winter, from what I understand. So, Somerville has seismic activity. It's all that stuff about those electrical currents they talked about and other ones, and the ghost currents, and they all converge in this one Oklahoma area. Convenient, isn't it? There's these Sumerian ruins about a Sumerian god and all this, and gee, it's like we're going back to the first one, when things were done better. They show footage from the first one because Paul Rudd's Gruberson is obsessed with the Ghostbusters. And then there's an Aztec death whistle. This movie had a death rattle going on pretty quickly. And that probably was kind of dickish given what happened to Harold Ramis. Rest in peace, Harold Ramis. But this movie did not make it to the end without basically dying before the finish line. So suddenly, Finn Wolfhard gets Ecto-1 going, eventually, somehow. Somehow they have all these resources. By not having much money, they somehow have the resources to fix this shit up and do all this and whatever. So, Phoebe, along with a kid named Podcast. These names are stupid, by the way, I just want to say. Like, Podcast, really, oh, because he has a podcast, and it really kicks in with the 46th episode, and he only has one subscriber. It turns out that subscriber is Ray. Why not tie this shit together? Why the fuck not? Why not do that? I don't know if this is coming across much, but I didn't really enjoy quite a bit of Ghostbusters Afterlife. Yeah. So, during a point where in Phoebe, after she uses the proton pack, they get in the car, Ecto-1, after Finn Wolfhard picks him up. His name's Trevor. Finn Wolfhard is just funnier to say. Picks him up after Ecto-1 gets wished into the cornfield. This movie should have been wished into the cornfield. And there's this gunner's seat in Ecto-1. I don't remember that, but whatever. I mean, I don't know what other stuff they did. And evidently, the movie didn't either. So they're chasing after Slimer, who simultaneously looks more updated and more fake than he did in the 84 and 89 versions. And then she says, our grandfather was Egon Spangler. He was a Ghostbuster. You don't say! Gee, Jason Reitman, why don't you just have flashcards out? It's made for a new generation. Just remember that. Just remember that. Just calm. It's entertainment. It only helps if you have entertainment in it. Okay? I'm calm. I'm calm. Calm down. Yeah, they get Slimer, but they fry up a whole bunch of stuff. And Bokeem Woodbine is in this. Why hasn't Bokeem Woodbine had a more stellar career? He's a pretty good actor. So, they get put in jail. So does, Lucky, that is Celeste O'Connor's name. I'm trying to remember. I believe that's how you say it. And there's a bit of a romance between her and Finn Wolfhard's character. There's also a massive romance, quick one, between Carrie Coon and Paul Rudd. I feel dirty saying Carrie's last name. I just do. So, Bokeem Woodbine, by the way, says, oh, you know, he's the sheriff of this podunk town, and they say, don't we get a call? Sure. Who are you going to call? Ha, 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 ha. So anyway, they decide basically to, they get released from jail. And all of a sudden the mother gets possessed by Zool because she goes into this area. Also, the basement has Egon watching over them because there's this weird light that reminds you of Fly the Navigator. See you later, Navigator. Ha ha. If you get that reference, I love you guys because that movie is old. So anyway, yeah, they go down in this mine to discover stuff about this ancient Sumerian evil. And then Paul Rudd gets kidnapped. And oh no, that movie is Rudderless for a bit. And guy played by J.K. Simmons was a guy that used metal from these mines as girders to build the apartment in the 1984 one. Almost like he was trying to summon this evil. But no, they wouldn't tie anything back to the first wall. Wait, they keep doing that. They don't have anything original to go with. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. The more I think about it, the more pissed off I get about this movie because there was a chance really to push the legacy forward. And it kind of just feels like this movie just stopped. Like, yes, it honored Harold Ramis's career and life. And that's great. Just the build-up to that whole thing wasn't great. So, they're doing what they're doing. They're going to start fighting ghosts. Suddenly, the mother's possessed. And Paul Rudd's possessed. Just like the first one with Harold Ramis. And, no, not Harold Ramis, but Rick Moranis and Sigourney Weaver. Getting inside Sigourney Weaver. Moving on. They just recreate the first movie thing. It turns out the field is just a giant ghost trap with a bunch of giant ghost traps. Or a bunch of ghost traps. J.K. Simmons gets killed. Ripped in half. Kind of fun. Somebody plays the Zool or Gozer recreation that kind of looked like Billy Idol, just with weird hair. Or like Patti Smith, who was the warrior, heart to win. Why I did like that, I don't know. So, the three legacy characters, Ray, Winston, and Peter, come back. And then they're getting too old for this shit. And only 3 days from retirement. Damn. And they're about to get killed. And then suddenly Phoebe fires back. And there's a switch to activate the traps in the house, by the way. You just have to activate it by hitting this giant switch that's on the goddamn porch. What if the Amazon delivery man came over and hit that? Would the van have been sucked into the field? Whatever. I don't know why I'm putting so much thought into this. It's fine. But Phoebe gets some help because her grandfather comes and helps her shoot the ghosts and everything and kill. And then they all do the stuff. And then they defeat Gozer, or the Key Keeper, or the Key Gator, or whatever. The Keep Gate community. And everyone is trapped. And then one last reunion. Father and daughter, and then Egon evaporates. He's assumed into heaven. I have to go. My planet needs me. Harold Ramis died on the way back to his planet. I'm a dick. And then we're back to New York for the sequel. And then they have Sigourney Weaver shock Peter Venkman like Peter shocked people in the beginning of the first one. Could she shock me like that? Yeah. Watch these instead. I mean, yeah, watch Ghostbusters Afterlife because you never know. You might actually miss a convenient plot point in this one that'll tie into Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. Not fucking likely. But yeah, it was okay in parts. But again, kind of super annoying because, yeah, for all the reasons I mentioned. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Ritlin. I'll see you soon.